Okay, I'm milling about with John Buffalo Mailer and Claudia Maree Mailer. There they are, the happily married couple.
Even throughout quarantine, like we're nailing
Yeah, tell me about that. You're together all the time now, basically.
it. No, like all the time. Yeah.
I mean, I miss her when I go to the bathroom, frankly.
It's a separation anxiety thing now. I think it's been 141 days.
I think we clocked in at 141, right? Thus far.
You haven't left the house in 140. Okay.
But yeah, the quarantine started March 10th, so.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, we're pretty diligent about it. We got, you know, people around us that we got to stay healthy to be there for. No going out to big parties or anything like that for us. But no, we have left the house. We have a little dog. We gotta walk her. We gotta give her some love. So.
Did you have the dog before quarantine? Because I know a lot of people have been getting puppies because of quarantine, right?
Yeah, no, we got her before. We got her 2 years ago. So she had her second birthday throughout quarantine, which was great. No, she's a little sweetheart. So she's good.
Yeah.
What's changed for you guys during this time? Do you find that you've picked up new hobbies? Are you doing anything different these days?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. You know, it feels like everything has changed in this time, and yet it also feels like we're just beginning to figure out how, and won't really know until we have the vaccine and discover what the new normal is. I have found that time works in bizarre ways through this. I thought, you know, oh, I'll get all this writing done, I'll get all this reading done, I'll do yoga, I'll do all this, but the reality is, you know, your mind is so focused on so many decisions and choices that normally you're on autopilot for. You know, I put my keys here, my wallet goes here, I do this. You get home and it's like your brain is overwhelmed.
You should see him. He literally opens the door and he just stands there for a good 45 seconds. I was like, what do you need, babe? Like, what do you need? He's like, I was like, do you need a disinfectant wipe? Like, what do you need? Tell me.
I mean, it's definitely a little PTSD of having been in New York throughout the whole time, because you know, New York is now back to where we had kind of started when it began, but at the height of it, you know, you would walk out the door and had to assume that everything was contaminated. And if you're a germ freak like I am to begin with, it's like—
Me too. Purell was like my middle name.
We're right.
I love that.
But that's the thing. So it's definitely been a time of reflection. And at the same time, we're releasing a movie in the midst of all of this, because we just, as a company, we just made the collective choice of life has to go on. We have to put this out there. We have to give people an hour and 40 minutes that can remind them what it feels like to be scared in the fun way again, you know?
Yeah, and speaking of that movie, it's called DieRy. And John, you and I talked about it last year when we met, but I had no idea it was going to be such a who-dunnit.
Excellent. Absolutely.
We love it.
Oh, wow. I thought I could guess who it was. I was that close.
You were? I love that. That's good.
I'm so tempted to ask who, but
No, I know,
spoilers. Spoilers.
No spoilers on this one. And I love that you wrote it with Claudia to be the lead. I think that it's just such a romantic gesture.
Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. I could not have written it without Claudia. She, for those of us who actually knew her as an actor before the world is about to see this, it's been undeniable and universal. Like, she's just a huge movie star. It's incredible. But this character, obviously I take the credit for my writing and my words, but the insight and the understanding of what it's like for someone who is an influencer and is a brilliant influencer, and against a lot of the stereotypes and the shade that influencers get, even though people go to them for what do I wear, what do I eat, what charity do I give to, you know, all these other things. I couldn't have written it without her. Now, don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, I'm not the director. The casting choice was not mine, and Jennifer, you know, ultimately said, there is no one else who can play this part.
She was right. She was right. You did a great, great job, Claudia. Tell me what that was like for you to be an influencer. I mean, are you into Instagram? Do you care?
I think it's always very difficult for someone my age, like in their 20s or even in their teens. Like right now, it's social media is such a huge part of your life. No matter how much you try to deny it, it is. Like I catch myself watching the news while scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, I don't need, it's just you're just automated doing it. It's just automatic and that's how it is. I think it's definitely difficult to show so much of your life online while remaining private, which is something that I find that the character Maree Clark really struggles with. And that's why she has her offline diary to remain sane throughout this. And I think it's such a necessary thing because you scroll through and you see you see everyone's highlights of the day. You never see their low points and you're comparing yourself to that. It's necessary to take a step back and remind yourself that social media isn't real. So I think it's definitely a difficult thing for people to navigate, especially growing up watching all of it.
Yeah, and you guys are public figures, so has it ever gotten scary or a little too close for you?
You
have probably more stories. He's got a lot of exes, so probably your story more.
I don't do any social media. I don't have any. I kind of feel like you got to know me to know me, because I have had some bad experiences in the past when it was first starting out, and realized the potential dangers for it, which I think also fed into this script and this story. But at the same time, as someone who works in the arts, it's not a choice.
Right.
We don't have a choice now. I mean, there's no such thing as offline, online. The two have blended together, and it's up to us to figure out how we're going to navigate this. Now that we've got, like 3 generations that have come up on it. Hopefully that's part of what the movie explores in subtle ways, is how do we navigate this world that we've created where what happens on your screen affects what's happening in your real life, and vice versa. And it is a doorway to anybody out there.
Right. And I don't think it was like scary or but we went to New Zealand. We went home, which is where I'm from, maybe two years ago, maybe 3. Mm-hmm. And so many of my friends who had never met Buffalo before, but had seen him on my
I love that you call him Buffalo. Do you call her Maree?
I don't. Can I say it?
Yeah.
I call her Poosh.
That's her nickname, Poosh.
Poosh.
Oh.
Poosh.
Hi, Poosh.
Go on. I digress.
But no, we went back home, and obviously none of my friends had met him before, and even people I went to grade school with who I haven't chatted with in years, they would, as I would say hi and walk away, they'll be like, well, we'll see you on the gram. And I'm like, that's how it is. Everyone just assumes that they know you already.
Yeah, I mean, there was such a wild familiarity with people that Claudia hadn't seen in 17 years, and I'd never met. And they're like, oh, Buffalo, it's good to see you. So, yeah. Usually it takes a minute to get to that level of intimacy, but that is the world that we live in right now, for better, for worse. And and there's a lot of greatness about it. I don't know how we would be navigating this time right now without it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my partner and boss, Martin Tuckman, said at one point when we were about a month into this, he goes, boy, can you imagine what would happen if the internet conked out? And we were like, Marty, don't say such things. What are you doing? That'll be our next movie.
Right. And talk about diaries. I mean, I remember as a kid, of course, writing a diary, and my mother threw it out by accident, and I was heartbroken for the rest of my days. So, how important is it? And now we say journaling. It's just not cool anymore to call it a diary.
We're reinventing that. Diary.
Right. We're bringing diary back.
We're bringing it back, exactly. Did you ever have a diary?
I always kept, actually this goes with, I always kept journals.
Oh,
But that's because it would be, yeah, I mean, you know, it was kind of a diary,
yeah.
but it was, for me, it was a place to kind of store ideas and to map out different possibilities of what could be this script or what could be that. Mixed in with some very heartfelt, you know, my mom had a really rough day today and I've got this place to put it out. So I'm not saying that I'm above having a diary, not at all. Actually, it's I think a great way to stay sane in a crazy world.
What about you, Claudia?
I remember like I think my first one was when I was like 7 or 8, and I was like, oh, you write about boys and love lyrics and all of that. And I remember purposely trying to make it like that. And I was like, wait, this isn't what I am at all. But no, I definitely keep one. Like I keep one when I kept one when I first moved here to keep track, so I can look back and be like, wow, I did all of this happened. You forget, and you know, now you have photos and you have your mini computer walking around with your phone with you all the time of like memories, but sometimes it's good to have an offline memory, which is
Yeah, it's just not the same. I feel like we're not living, you know, we're so busy. Like I yell at my husband all the time, stop taking pictures.
Oh, that's
no, I
good.
feel, yeah, exactly. It's a
But
thing. Can we just eat the food and not take a photo before? Like, please.
it's impossible.
Yeah.
Now, I think I found a new love. The actor who plays the teacher in this, oh my God, where did you find him?
Thomas Q. Jones. He's
A
just like a,
force to be reckoned
I mean,
with.
he's like a superhero. It's incredible. You know, one of the nicest guys in the world. You know, NFL superstar, breaks into acting at an age when most guys do not, and is just like on this meteoric rise right now. He came through one of our producers, Matt Berkowitz, had cast him as the lead in his film A Violent Man. And I was a fan of Thomas through his work on Luke Cage. And when Matt brought up the idea of him playing the professor and said, you know, he was might be a good fit, you know, we presented it to Jennifer, and she met with Thomas, and it was just clear this guy is perfect for this because that role, you know, has a duality to it of he is a college professor and he's also got a military background that is deep and profound. And Thomas just really, he's got a certain emotional depth to him where you can believe him as both. And just.
He's like Idris Elba meets Denzel Washington.
Oh, I
I'm
love
going to tell him you
it.
said that.
Yeah.
He's going to be very happy with that. But
You can tell him I said so.
We will.
I'm sure it wasn't hard to have a little crush shed on him, Claudia.
Not at all.
I was barred from set that day. I couldn't, you know, for my own sanity and well-being.
What about the dog? Is that your dog?
No, that wasn't our dog.
Oh, okay.
We're
Axel the dog.
Exactly. Yeah, Axel the dog.
Axel the dog. But he was a great dog. He was a beautiful dog.
He was a very pretty dog.
If we didn't live in New York and didn't have to have a certain size of dog, like not that big, then he would be a great dog to have. But he's kind of an LA dog.
He behaved himself. He was a good acting dog.
Yeah, there's, I guess, I don't know if I can say, there's one scene where he's following me. I'll say it in that way. And the way we had to do it was the trainer put hot dog, like cooked hot dog all over my hands. And I had to walk like this so he would follow me the entire way. It was trippy. Yeah. But he was a very sweet, sweet dog. Just loves his hot dogs. It
was like one of those classic casting situations where he's so the opposite of how he comes across in the movie. He's just a very, very sweet dog, but quite menacing.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah, he scared me, and I love dogs. Now, I was wondering, John Buffalo, what should I call you, John or Buffalo? What do you prefer?
Well, I think we're at that level, right?
Yeah, we're good. Buffalo. Here we go. So buff. No. I was wondering when you were going to show up in this, and then you show up and you've got this Cajun accent.
It was we were actually on our honeymoon before we started shooting DieRy, and I'd written this character to be from New Orleans, but we ended up taking an alligator tour in the deep bayou, and we had this guy with this amazing voice who got on the boat, and immediately we're out there, and he had these marshmallows he was throwing into the water and shouting at the alligators, here, here, right here. And I mean, we looked at each other, we were like, that's Trey's voice.
Yeah.
Like, that's the voice right there. So it's funny because if you don't know the different dialects of the Southeast and you think, oh, it's just a Southern accent. No, he's not just a Southern accent. It's that deep, deep bayou voice that comes out, and a certain personality that is, New Orleans is one of my favorite places in the whole world.
Yeah.
And we had such an incredible time there. But there was something that just felt so right about this quirky, unique character that's where he would come from, and that would be his voice.
Claudia, did you like it when he spoke in that accent? Was it like a good thing?
I love a Southern accent. I know that was like a particular one, but there was one night on our honeymoon, and I'm half English, half Kiwi, so it's like who doesn't love a Southern like boy? So I made him do his Southern accent one night, the whole night. You weren't allowed to break character. It was a good little acting challenge, but no, I loved it. I loved it.
It's very fortunate for me. My mom was from Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very cool. I also loved the makeup in this movie. I want your makeup artist now, please.
I love her. Kelly is a dream. Forever.
I mean, you're gorgeous to begin with, but she just did such a great job.
Yeah, no, she's honestly one of the best humans ever. And it was such a collaborative effort too. She was like, what do you see? And then we merged them together, and it was really, really fun.
She's an artist, yeah.
Did you model ever? I mean, that must be a very silly question.
I've done a little bit. Back home, I competed in a modeling talent agent pageant thingy, and I actually ended up winning, and I did a little circuit around New Zealand, but that's pretty much the extent. I was like, the whole time I know that acting's what I want to do. So yeah, the modeling helped. It definitely helped me gain confidence in who I am and what I want to present and my brand and all of that, but acting is definitely the thing for me.
Well, I hope you continue. And are you going to just keep working together and creating projects for each other? Is that the thing now?
Dream team.
As long as she'll have me, absolutely.
As long as she can afford me.
Yeah, no, we had such an absolutely delightful time working together on this, and our entire life is a collaboration. So it's hard to imagine not doing it. I mean, we've done either in front of the camera, behind the scenes. I think how many together now at this point?
Five or six?
I think 5 or 6 movies together at this point, in one capacity or another. This is the first time we've had the chance to be writer and star and do that. But I can't imagine making a movie without her.
Aww, I love that. I love it.
I try.
So what is your next project? Do you have something in the works?
We do. We have a few things going on right now. There's 2 TV series that we've been developing. One is called Mailer, which is a bio series. I don't want to say it's a bio series of my father's life. I mean, like I said, its essence it is, but it's really kind of America in the second half of the 20th century through the lens of Norman Mailer's life, and shows us how we went from World War II, when a lot of people think, the American empire begins, to where we are today and how we got here. So that is one series, and the other is called Who Wrote the Bible? And we're going to actually do that as an animated series and bring
cool.
the 4 principal authors of the Old Testament. and the world that produced the best-selling book of all time. So those are two big projects. We have others brewing as well. It's also a question of, when are we going to be able to get back to production in New York? What is that going to look like? We have another feature that we want to do called Storyteller that Jennifer is directing, and I had the joy of writing, which is kind of a mystery fairy tale set in a fictional Elaine's restaurant in New York. And
oh, wow. Is Claudia, are you going to be acting in that as well?
I do have a little part in that. It'll be a lot of fun. Yes, it'll be a lot of fun. I don't know how much I can say. It'll be fun. I'm excited. When the time comes, I'm very excited.
Exactly.
Well, you'll have to come back on and talk to me all about that one. Absolutely. John Buffalo Mailer and Claudia Maree Mailer, and I am Robin Lynn Milling. We are going to start a 3-name club. What do you think?
I love it.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Robin.
you.
It's such a pleasure to talk.
Gorgeous to see you, and stay safe.
You too.
Likewise.
Take good care.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.